Oh snap! Apparently that whole time I was in preview mode. Now the actual stream has started. Crazy. Thanks, YouTube. Well, I'm glad I didn't stream for like an hour before I realized that. No, but what I was saying is I don't understand what Adobe thought was going to happen. Like, what did they think we were going to do? Just be like, all right. The speculation says that they were trying to like brute force us into accepting some kind of AI thing they're working on. Just that whole situation seems really dumb. Because it shows that Adobe isn't aware that they're already on thin ice. Like, nobody likes Adobe right now, as it is. And most people are just waiting for a reason not to have to use the Adobe anymore. So, I don't know what they thought was going to happen. To be honest, though, if I had money, I would buy Moho. I still have my copy of Anime Studio back when Moho was called Anime Studio. I broke it out. This joint right here. I don't even know where I got this from. But this is basically like bare bones Moho. I might still mess around with that just to look at it. It's for rig animation though. I think one cool thing that came out of that whole Adobe situation though is that somebody posted a version of OpenTunes where they kind of modded the interface so it's a lot easier to mess with. And I was poking around in it, and it actually has the capture settings that I was talking about that were missing in Premiere that was preventing me from doing the rest of that how to animate on paper video. So I'm gonna mess with that at some point. Yeah, I have this laptop sitting here so I can monitor the chat, and I can't tell if it's working or not. That's why I keep messing with this over here. So hang on for a second. Let me just see something. All right. Seems like that's working okay. I don't know what I'm gonna do for these dudes in the background. I will figure it out, I suppose. One thing I think is interesting is everybody was in a panic trying to figure out what they can use instead of Flash or Animate. And I was on Twitter and I kept suggesting Blender. Apparently nobody is aware that you can like do what I'm doing right now in Blender. People don't seem to know. Twitter is weird though, because I be trying to tell people stuff, and somebody always starts arguing with me. Like they want to argue about the accuracy of your own experience and stuff. You could be like, when I was 12, this happened to me. And somebody on Twitter will be like, actually, that didn't happen, and that's not what happened. What actually happened was X, Y, Z. But I was telling somebody, I think learning to use the grease pencil is easier than trying to learn Toon Boom. Like, Toon Boom's really good. I just think the learning curve is crazy, especially when you mess with the node editor. And somebody like was arguing with me about it. So I'm like, all right. I think I've just about memorized how to draw these shoes. Just about. So I don't think the rabbit moves in this shot. Yeah, he's just standing there. So I think I'm gonna put him on a different layer. Oh, you know what? These aren't the layers. I was saying earlier I was having some audio problems. Hopefully, this microphone isn't sounding crazy. I don't understand what's happening because I didn't mess with it since the last stream. I might just need a better microphone. I didn't stretch my hands before I started drawing this. I'm gonna try something. Kind of cheat this gun a little bit so it's not touching on the floor. I'm gonna fix his teeth, I think. His teeth don't look snarly enough to me. Like, why don't I just copy the mouth I have drawn here? Hey, what's up? I tried to follow your traditional animation tutorial back in the day. Yeah, that's cool. Like, how did it work out? Hopefully it worked out okay. I was saying the last stream I didn't finish that video because turns out I'm great at procrastination. I understand that. I would say I didn't finish the second part to that video because a lot of the apps and like methods I used to use for paper animation don't exist anymore. So I used to use, there was a program called Monkey Jam I used to use that I don't think you can get it anymore. It functionally works. Okay, that's good to know. Technoplasm Productions. But I think, actually I was saying earlier, after today, I think I might be able to finish the video. Because after all that whole fiasco with Adobe Animate, somebody put me on to a version of OpenTunes that does like a lot of the stuff I haven't been able to do. So I can actually finish the video. That is me, yeah. That'd be cool. Yeah, I've been wanting to finish it for a while. It's just crazy because like one day I sat down and like do it in a week, and then all like I used to use Live Trace and Illustrator, and they did something to it where it doesn't do the same thing it used to do. Because I would hand ink all my drawings and then take the finished line work and I convert it to vector. And you could do that directly in Flash, but it kind of sucks. But I'm gonna see if I can do like a 2026 version. I guess I should probably draw the ground. So what I did was probably janky, but I do the traditional part exactly how you suggest and run it through Krita. And then Trafe. Oh, Trace. I was about to be like, what's Trafe? Yeah, I figured there's got to be some up-to-date way to do it. Oh, typo. No problem. Oh, you like the Max looking character? I didn't even think about that. He does look just like him. That's crazy. Just pretend I did that on purpose. But I appreciate it. This is like a remake of Alice in Wonderland where they're gonna like rob all the Queen's businesses and stuff. So it's really inspired by like Dead Leaves. And this shot is from like an anime intro kind of thing I'm doing. Yeah, pretty much with guns. Well, Alice has a sword, because in the original story she used a sword. The Vorpal blade that she kills the Jabberwocky with. But the rabbit will have guns also. And I'm going to have this scene where they fight the caterpillar. And because he has 6 arms, he has like a trench coat and 6 guns, like that. So it's kind of a cool excuse to do a bunch of action scenes. Okay, this is what the shot's gonna look like. What's the Cheshire Cat like in this? He's kind of like a serial killer. Like, he's gonna use a lot of knives and be like so the kind of thing where you're like, is this guy a bad guy? Is he not? Is he helping us? Is he not helping us? He's sort of similar to the Joker, where he's just like there for the chaos of the situation. That's awesome, thank you. I have a bunch of drawings of the cat in a sketchbook somewhere that I have to find. Ted Bundy Cheshire Cat, yes. Because in the original cartoon, they do this thing where he always like teleports and stuff, and like all you see are his teeth. So I kind of want to have it where Like my version of that is he'll like murder somebody and then they won't find who did it. You just see him like grinning in the darkness or something, but they never actually catch him. I love that. I want to see it when it drops. Most definitely. I appreciate it. I kind of fell off for a while because whenever I have paid work, like I need the money, so I have to stop working on this and do whatever paid thing I'm working on. So this is really like the first time I've been able to like work on it consistently in a long time. It's one of those things where I'm like, what is life going to be like when I finish this one specific animation? Of course, do you need voice actors? Feel free to tell me to kick sand, but I'd love to. No, I definitely need voice actors. I don't have any lined up at the moment. I wouldn't tell you to kick sand anyway. I always need voice actors. I think what I'll do is when I'm ready for voice actors, I'll probably, I don't know, I'll probably just like post an email or something and be like, email me if you want a voice act. Like this whole thing is more of a music video kind of thing, I guess. So I haven't thought about it yet. But even for stuff that's not this, I'll still need voice actors. Fair, fair. Let's try this again. I thought this was going to be an easy shot. I might be overthinking this hair. Rule of thumb for creative works: if you think it's easy, no, it won't be. Or so I found out. Yeah, that's how it always is. If it's something I think is going to be hard, it's not that bad. And then if it's something I think is going to be easy, it's going to take like 4 days. That's what happened with the shot I did before this. The shot before this, it's Alice falling into the rabbit hole, like the vortex, kind of like Samurai Jack style. And like the part where she's falling is animated. And I thought like doing the perspective on her falling was going to be the hard part, but like making the vortex ended up being a huge pain. I was like, isn't it just swirling circles? Why is this so hard? Same with YouTube analytics. I post low effort content, it gets like 19,000 views. When I put effort, it gets 200. Yeah, that's what happens to me too. If it's me just like messing around. Like I did an animation where it was me just trying to figure out something back in the day, maybe like 10 years ago. And if you ever go look through my videos, it's called Animating on Threes, where like I think I had came out of school exclusively animating on twos, and I was trying to figure it out because there's different timing and stuff. And so I just did an animation of this cat girl talking or something. And I think that's like my most popular video on the YouTube channel. And it wasn't me like trying to make a series or doing some kind of story. It's just like me messing around with this talking cat girl. Something about that video, I don't know what it is. And then I have like a full ass short film that's 7 minutes long. And it like barely got half the views that did. So that keyframe animated a vault door for a client. It was a pain making it spin realistically. Oh, that's one of those things that sounds simple that would be crazy. I think I'm just gonna copy these legs. I don't want to have to redraw these shoes. trying to decide, can I get away with just these 2 frames? Or do I need one more in between this? I guess we can see. Depends on how fluid you want. It's weird because this is kind of like a Studio Trigger inspired shot. So it's kind of supposed to be choppy, but I think I might need like one more frame. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do one more frame. It'll probably work as is, but if you want it to pop, you should add in between. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If it's your hair blowing in the wind, a smear frame might work. Let me try that actually. I think when I do the cleanup, I'll probably end up copying and pasting a lot of these parts that don't move. But for the rough, I just prefer to draw it. I don't know. I might redraw the whole thing to keep the line boil. I'll probably end up giving the rabbit a line boil too, just so he doesn't look too still. Have some debris shoot past them or something, depending on the comp. That's a good idea. Good idea. I think I might actually do that. I can hear my dog moving around. I need him not to bark. If he barks, it's going to devastate the whole stream. Little doggo wants to sit with you while you work. No, he actually takes advantage of the situation and gets in my bed. And I let him stay there so he won't bark or bother me. But he might come over. Every once in a while he'll come over. You'll see him like pop his head up. He'll hang out. Like, how long have we been going so far? Let's see. It's been about an hour, so he might come over here at some point. Because after a while, he's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you sitting in that chair talking to yourself? Didn't know your dog was low-key diabolical like that? Yeah, he's like... In his book, I live to serve him. And he's like, why aren't you over here making my situation comfortable? more cat than dog. Kind of, yeah, pretty much. It's like I live with him. He lets me stay here. That's not bad. You pay rent to him as a landlord. Yeah, right. Because he wakes me up in the morning and everything. Like, get up. Look at you. Get up. Prepare my food. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep the 3 frames. Man, now that I'm looking at this, I'm like, the rabbit's ears have to move. Maybe real subtle. Maybe not too much. Make sure I save that. Yeah, he's basically static. That's how I planned it too, but like now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, I need him to at least boil or something. This isn't One Punch Man. He has to move a little bit. Maybe at the beginning, have him lower the gun in the hand that's already lowered. You know what? I would do that, but I already erased this foot. I don't want to have to draw this foot. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just boil his lines and move his ears. He's got those little 2 tufts of hair, but I'll move those. It's like scope creep. Fair. I don't know if you were in the last stream when I was complaining about overly designing her shoes. I'm always like, why did I make her shoes so detailed? Like, this is my fault. I did this to myself. Oh, no, that's your first one? Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate the shoes. Because I would always get lazy on the shoes. I just wanted her to have, like, a distinct pair of shoes that were, like, specifically for her. Like, I don't know. I think my video is covering this little picture where you can see her foot right here. Hella cool fit, to be honest. Thanks. So actually, what happened is she works at an anime store where it's kind of a combination of like a video store and a maid cafe, and she was wearing like a T-shirt with like a schoolgirl uniform on it, and then when she came to Wonderland, it was just like a schoolgirl uniform. Like she transformed. Little Kai shoes from Digimon. Yeah, I think they all had like distinct shoes in that. Why does cafe setting feel like the setup to a Steins Gate episode? It's a perfect fit. But the idea is that because she's kind of an anime nerd, it makes her like really powerful in Wonderland. So she could like make up special moves and they work. It's like there's not really a power system, but it's kind of like if there was a power system, it would be based on imagination. Daru would have much fun. That's such a good show. I didn't like the sequel though. Steins Gate Zero. Oh, so anime isekai logic as world logic in the OG isekai. It's like it's basically like she's really strong just because her imagination is so high. In a time where people don't really have a lot of an imagination, and this watch that the rabbit is wearing is her watch. So it also, like him wearing that gives him powers, which is why he has it. He technically stole it from her. He didn't care for Zero. I didn't like it. It sucks because it took me a while to realize I didn't like it. I was trying to like it. It just, I don't know. Maybe I gotta rewatch it because it was a while ago. I think I watched like 5 episodes maybe of it, and I was just like, ah. But I would give it a rewatch just to be sure, just in case. I've definitely had shows where I went back and watched them, and I was like, man, I was probably like jaded or something back then, because this is pretty good. I think also just like at the time when they announced the Steins Gate sequel, I had like expectations. You know, where you do that thing where everybody does this now, where you have expectations of a movie or show, and then the show does something completely different, and because it didn't line up with exactly what you thought was going to happen, you're kind of like, oh, I don't like this. So I think maybe that's what happened, which is why I'm like, I gotta check it out again just to make sure. I like that her power level are high because she's imaginative. You said you would. I would. Steins Gate Zero was really good, but it had to be taken in context with the first run. Yeah, you hyped it up in your head. Yeah. I think so. Because that's the if I'm not mistaken, I didn't watch the whole thing. That's the version of dude that like makes the message that causes the other version of him to like to do the thing. Yeah, I might be due for a rewatch of both of them actually. I think it's been like almost 10 years or something since I last watched that. There was a movie I didn't watch either. People told me the movie wasn't good, so instead of watching it, I just didn't. I mean, I just believed them and took their word for it. But it's been my experience. I gotta check this stuff out for myself. Substantively, the bad timeline. But a bit of a departure. Excuse me. I gotta figure out what the next anime I'm gonna watch is. I'm behind on everything. All this new stuff keeps coming out. I'm probably gonna catch up on Gachi Akura. I think I'm like 3 episodes into that. Madoka Magica. I've seen that before. I've seen the original series. I know there's like a bunch of spin-offs and stuff. Not new, but amazing. Yeah, that was really good. My wife convinced me to watch that. Because when I didn't know what it was, I was like, I kind of don't. I was like, I don't know if this magical girl stuff is my style. I was like, I don't know if I could do this. And then it got dark, and I was like, oh, okay. It's kind of depressing. Oh, Sergeant Frog. I remember that. I like that we're in this era where they keep either remaking stuff or bringing back new seasons of old stuff. Like, I think it's insane that they're going to remake Dragon Ball Super from like Battle of Gods. And they're remaking One Piece. Yeah, that got announced. They're remaking Dragon Ball Super. They're gonna go all the way to the manga, like the Space Patrol arc. But they said they're gonna remake the two movies. So it was what, Battle of Gods and Resurrection F. They're like, I don't know if they're remaking the movies or if they're remaking the arcs from the show. But it's crazy because it's kind of redundant because those movies are already really good. I didn't understand why they did it the first time because I was like, you're gonna make an inferior version of these two movies where you could just start the show after the last movie, but oh, they're gonna remake Black Lagoon, which will be shit. You can't have Revy modern day. I gotta go back and finish that. I haven't seen all of that. There's like too many shows to watch. Because I was watching One Piece, but I just started One Piece. And I made the decision that I'm not going to worry about how many episodes there are and just watch it casually. And I think I'm on like episode 20 something out of 60 million. It's funny, it's been running for so long that the episodes I'm on look like super old, and then like if you look at the new episodes, they look crazy and the animation is like movie quality. And I was like, yo, how many episodes do I have until it looks like that? That's why even bother? Yeah, that's what I don't get it. It's like a reallocation of effort. Content overload. I can't sit down for that long anymore. And so I'm no longer 12. They will find the One Piece, I promise. It's not bad. The reason I started watching it is because I have a friend, and based on the kind of anime I like, he's like, I cannot believe you of all people are not watching One Piece. He was like, you have to watch it. Like, how are you not watching One Piece? And I was like, well, when you put it like that, like it was an intervention. Like, if anybody should be watching One Piece, it's you. It was that, and then I don't know if you watch One Piece or not, but I watched a YouTube video where this guy was talking about the world building, and that's really what sold me on it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this, because he was basically saying that the One Piece world was more complex than Lord of the Rings. And I was like, what? And then when he explained the world building, I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch this show because that sounds crazy. But I'm so early into it. Like where I'm at, I think they just got the boat. There were so many episodes where he didn't even have a boat. So I've seen some, but it's like too much. I feel like I'd be dead before it's done. But the consensus from the internet is to not try to catch up to the current season, because they were like, there's a thing that happens where you're if you speed run it, if you're watching like 10 episodes a day or something, they say it gets so good that you're going to go on this psychotic binge, and then maybe in like a year you're going to catch up. And they're like, once you catch up, it's awful because then you got to wait a week. They're like, you went from like being able to watch like as many episodes as you want back to back to back, and then once you get to the point where you have to wait a week, they're like, it's horrible. That's what they say anyway. So I imagine when I'm like 60 years old, I'll be caught up or something, because I'm taking my time. It's not bad though. Like I was watching Fairy Tale, so it's better than Fairy Tale. Oh geez. And Luffy's a good protagonist too. I like Luffy. Yeah, that's better. And the camera's gonna be what, zooming out or zooming in? I don't remember. Zooming out. I'm trying to decide if when I do the cleanup, if I should do them on one layer or two layers. Like I have them separated right now. It might be smart to keep them separated. Yeah, I think I will. Been going for like an hour and a half. I think I'm gonna do Alice's frames and then call it. So I assume you're an animator. Have you been keeping up with the whole Adobe Animate fiasco? I had planned on talking about how crazy that was, but then they backpedaled right before I started the stream. I like checked Twitter and saw that they backpedaled, and they were like, "No, actually, we're not going to cancel it because our stock went down." I mean, Adobe has been messing up though. That's really why I started doing this in Blender. Oh, your internet crapped out? I understand. I feel like when I'm doing something inconsequential, my internet is perfect, but as soon as I like really need it for something serious, all of a sudden it doesn't work. Sorry for being non-existent for a second. That's okay. No, I was asking if you were up on what happened with Adobe Animate and how they were going to discontinue it, but then right before I started the stream, I checked Twitter and they already backpedaled and they were like, no, actually, we're not going to discontinue it. Sectron. But really, the reason I started learning to animate in Blender is because I knew there were going to be points in time where I just like didn't want to pay to have Adobe Animate. Because I really only use it for paid work. And it's like when they pay me, I pay for it. Like if I'm doing something where they're going to pay me, then I turn it back on. Oh, you didn't hear about it? Yeah, so yesterday they made an announcement that they were just going to discontinue Adobe Animate out of nowhere. They were like, next month we're going to discontinue support for it. And then they were like, in 2027, it's like not going to be a product anymore. And they were kind of like weird and vague about what that exactly meant. So like it kind of sounded like at first you weren't going to be able to open your files in it anymore, but apparently if they were local, it still would have worked. But basically they weren't going to offer it as like a service anymore. And then the internet exploded because everybody is basically using that as a cheap alternative to Toon Boom and stuff. So I've been trying to figure out how to crack an old suite before the business model changed to a monthly subscription forever now. Yeah, right. And like yesterday, everybody was talking about that. Like people were posting links. What makes it? I used to have a cracked version, and I don't know what I did. I had it on a disc, and I don't know where it is. It was one of those situations where I was like, well, if I ever need Flash again, I'll just reinstall it off that disc. And then like I deleted it and couldn't find that disc. And it's like $22 a month, which isn't bad, but it's still, like, considering you used to be able to buy it and then just own it, it kind of sucks. They're locked, a good way out of it. Also like a Little Big Planet kind of thing, yeah. But they made this announcement, and then before I started this stream, I checked Twitter again. And they were like, no, we were wrong. We're not going to do that. And what's funny is Moho, the company, their software used to be Anime Studio. And now they're called Moho. They made a post where they were like, our company respects animators, and we're going to give you a $100 discount off of our software. And I think the combination of that, and then people were also posting screenshots of their stock taking a big dive. Yeah, their premiums are insane. Like, there was a point where I was paying for the whole suite, and I think, how much was it? It was definitely like around $100, like maybe over $100 for everything. Because at the time, I needed Photoshop, I needed Premiere, I needed After Effects, and I needed Animate. And like, the only way you can get those for is if you get like one of the bundles. But I've gradually like weaned myself off Adobe. Like, I don't use Photoshop. I don't have Photoshop on this machine. The only Adobe product I was using was Animate. And that's only because of the symbol-based animation. Because I was doing some freelance stuff and I was trying to like hand draw it. And I was like, I'm never going to finish this. I need like symbols and stuff. So I got it for that reason, but the only reason I didn't switch to Clip Studio Paint is because the version I got only lets you go up to 30 frames of animation because I got an old copy. And if you want to update it, you have to get on a subscription, which is the exact same problem as Adobe. And so I was like, well, if I got to pay for something, I'll just pay for Animate. But I think what they don't understand is people have been looking for an excuse to drop them. And it was just, that was like the last nail in the coffin. But I also want to know, like, why did they think that was a good idea? Like, what were they thinking? I think I said this earlier, but I like to think there was like one guy in the company telling them that was a bad idea and nobody listened to him. Because they're like they're not anime studios. They're animation studios still using Animate. They're still using it in schools. Like, people were posting that like their degrees were in jeopardy because they needed it for school. I like GIMP and Metabang better than Photoshop. I animate in Krita because despite what people say about the program, its onion skinning is peak. I don't edit in After Effects because it's over-engineered. Yeah, I agree with that. I use DaVinci Resolve now. The only reason I was using After Effects is because like to do certain special effects, I couldn't do it in Premiere because Premiere is kind of not made for that. But I'm just using the free version of DaVinci Resolve, and it's just as good, if not better, than Adobe Premiere. Because the thing about Premiere is it would crash on me all the time. And I've never had DaVinci Resolve crash. So After Effects and Premiere, two of the most intuitive, over-engineered slot programs I've ever encountered. Yeah, especially After Effects. Always thought After Effects was overrated. DaVinci is great as far as I can tell. Yeah, it's really good. I like highly recommend it. Because there's a paid version, and I'm like, if the free version is this good, like, what does the paid version do? And then I've just been using Clip Studio Paint as my Photoshop substitute. Because everything you can do in Photoshop, you can do in Clip Studio. Some of the things are, it's kind of a roundabout way, but like some of the things aren't as straightforward as Photoshop, or I think Photoshop has patented certain things where they can't like 100% copy how they do it. But you can do like the exact same thing in Clip Studio. All of my bundles who I work with use it. The paid version is insane. By the way, I can't just actually do much with it because my computer is dead. And I've been freebooting off of a 2016 copy of Magic's Movie Edit Pro for God knows how long. Yeah, whatever works, man. I hate that. Because I actually have a bootleg copy of Toon Boom on my Potato PC that I built in like 2011. And it's like, it's Toon Boom from like 4 years ago. Because I like got it through some means. But my computer, that computer I have it installed on, it like barely runs it. Like you can animate certain things in it, but you can't do a lot of like crazy effects and stuff like that. So it's like I have an arcade machine over here. It's on the computer with the arcade machine stuff in it that I put in the arcade machine. But I think one day I might take it out and just try to mess with it. Toon Boom. Yeah, Toon Boom's pretty good. I like Toon Boom, but I think for like a lot of solo animation, it's kind of overkill. It's kind of bloated. Like it's not bad. It's not terrible. I'm actually certified in Toon Boom. I had to use it for a past job. But the thing I liked about Animate is that it's kind of the simplicity of it makes doing a lot of things faster. Toon Boom's also just crazy expensive. Sure, it's a big program that has a lot of features. Yeah, specifically for puppet animation. The puppet animation in Toon Boom is insane. Like any cartoon, any American cartoon that's not like an anime show, they're Toon Boom puppets. Like every single show, Rick and Morty. What else? I don't even know what's on TV now. But like basically every animated sitcom is Toon Boom rigs. And it's so crazy. Like you basically have you can get to a point where the puppet you use in Toon Boom has the same level of detail as like a 3D model. Like you can rotate it, you can spin it around and basically pose it in any pose you want. It's mad time consuming to like make a puppet that complex, but it's crazy. Full features was like $1,000 a month or something crazy. Yeah, that's why I don't have it. That's why I started using Blender. The Blender is free 99. Yeah, they basically are 2D, 3D models, honestly. I got certified in Toon, but I had to take this class for the previous job I had, and it was full of like old school like paper Disney animators who they got to a point where they had no choice but to like learn something other than animating on paper. One of the guys in that class, he was one of the animators that worked on Space Jam. He was part of like the Lola Bunny team. And I was like, oh, I was kind of geeking out. That class was crazy because that class made me feel like I didn't know what the hell I was like compared to all these other animators. I felt like I was a baby. Well, I thought that was a bit. I had no clue. You actually had to get a certification. Fleischer Animators Learning Modern Animation is kind of cool though. They hate doing that. Yeah, I don't know if it's on the camera. I put it on the wall up here. I don't know if it's like an official certification, but I basically had to get more training in Toon Boom for my job in paperless animation. Because I had worked on paper until 2017, but I was still like a lot more modern than everybody else in there. Old man yells at clouds in the sky type shit. Yeah, right. No, what was crazy is they like I can draw by hand, but I take a lot of shortcuts, or I'll less what is it? I don't remember the expression, but like work smarter, not harder. So if there's an easier way to do something, like how I copy and pasted these legs, they had us doing these class assignments where we had to do like movie quality animation, and I was dying. It was only like a 2-hour class once a week on top of like my job. And I was telling my wife, I was like, yo, they got us animating for real in this class, and I'm dying. That's low-key the coolest thing I've heard all month. Like we had to animate. They would give us these files with like pre-designed characters, and they'd be like, "We're going to teach you how to use these tools, and to use this tool, you got to animate this character." And so I had to do like a bouncing cartoon sushi kind of walk cycle thing, and it had to be on ones, like 24 frames per second. And I haven't animated on ones since college. And I was like, oh my god. Everybody else was just like drawing it really fast, and they were like, I'm done. What do I do after I'm done? And I was like, oh. Yeah. So the phone way of saying, yeah, I cut corners, so what? We were on a Zoom thing. So you know on Zoom you can like raise your hand. And I would ask the instructor, are we like, I'd be like, are we drawing like every frame? We're not no twos. And he'd be like, yeah, every frame. Like it's not a big deal. Just draw every frame. Japanese pop music video. And we had to do something else where we had to animate like a full walk cycle with like no layers on one layer, because I kind of have a method of doing walk cycles where it's broken up. It's broken up into multiple layers, to where like mostly all I'm doing is the legs and the arms. I'm not like rotating the torso. But we had to do one where it was like a full body walk. And I think he was just like no less than 30 frames or something like that to get the tools to work or whatever. Follow-up question: why do you hate me, Professor? And I was the only one in there like dying, like struggling. Right, because you are normal. There was one dude who would never talk on the chat thing, and he would just do the work and not say anything. And I don't know who he is. He was one of those people where I'm like, I'm sure you're a famous person, but I don't know who you are, and you're not talking, and so I don't have any clues. But I know who you are. Like I know you're somebody who worked on something, and it's probably why you're not talking. He had like a full beard, and sometimes he just like wouldn't have the camera on him, and he would just do the work, and not like a psychopath. And we had to share our screens so he could see us drawing it. And this was on like a Saturday morning at like 7 o'clock in the morning. Like, I think if it was later in the day, it wouldn't have been so bad. But, like, waking up first thing and having them be like, all right, we're going to draw, like, 45 frames of animation today in, like, an hour. He was the psychopath. The guy that didn't talk, yeah. No, the Space Jam dude did the most talking, and he had his Cintiq on top of like one of those old school drawing, those animation desks. And I was like, man, I would kill to get one of those. And then I would have to go to work and teach everybody all the stuff I learned. Yeah, he did. Like, the way he had his camera set up, you could see his whole room. and it looked like an old school like Disney kind of setup. He had said he worked on a bunch of stuff. The only thing I really remember is Space Jam, because I was like, Lola Bunny, oh my god. That was the thing I was fixated on, but I forget he worked on like a bunch of other things. Yeah, right. It's like going to kung fu school, thinking you're a badass, and everybody starts like turning Super Saiyan. And you're like, oh. You go to the World Martial Arts Tournament thinking you can fight, and then everybody starts flying. Sounds like a good coffee lunch type of guy, yeah. It was kind of hard because it was like through Zoom, so we really didn't have a lot of time for small talk. Because like it was an online class, I think the instructor was, I think he had to be like really tight about the time. So we would have like between 5 and 2 minutes like before the class started to kind of just talk for a little bit. But like once the class started, it was all business pretty much. Yeah, you couldn't converse much. I would love to do another class like that in person. But what's crazy is like we were all sharing our screens, so you could watch them like using their superhuman ability to like bust out these drawings like hella quick. It's like, damn. It like shows you how far you have to go in your kung fu. I think I still have all the files that I worked on, but I had to sign an NDA not to post the project materials. Oh, that'd be awesome. There'd be a point in time where I was going to take Sunny Straight's voice actors workshop, but money issues occurred. Yeah, I understand. Like there was Peter Chung had an animation directing class, and it was like really cheap. It was like $300 or something. But like I was broke. I'm broke as hell. So I was like, if I had money, I would take that class. I need Peter Chung to tell me my drawings are terrible. Plus, the thing about taking those classes is, in addition to like learning industry skills, like it can actually lead to you getting a job based on your classmates. Because I had a coworker who took a storyboarding class, and the person he made friends with, I don't remember if it was a teacher or a classmate, but he got a job based off of that. Just being like somebody that he knew from the class. It's relatable. I'm currently a leaf in the wind myself. Moving my stuff out of my family is trying to find living arrangements has been meh. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully it's for the better though. Hopefully it'll be for the best. That's true. Your teacher and your classmates can both offer and refer you for work. Yeah. It's the same with voice acting workshops. Here's hoping. Do you have like a voice acting reel or anything that I could listen to? Like, if you have anything online that I could listen to, you should post a link in the chat. Because I was serious, I do need voice actors. It's like I have a bad habit of waiting until I like really need them, and then I can't find any. You voice John in this. Yeah, I need to really have a Rolodex or something. A list of voice actors. Are you posting links? I don't think it's showing the links. Do I have it where you can't show the links? Why is it blocking the links? I'm sure I did that on purpose. Hold on. Yeah, I think it's I think it's YouTube like moderating my stream. Hold on. Can I post links? Hold on. I gotta look into that. Okay, well, do me a favor. Send it to that. Send them to that email. While I figure out. Well, I'll look into that next stream and figure out why it's not letting you. I feel like I don't think that's the thing I did on purpose. Hold on. Stream settings. Man, this isn't like Twitch. All my experiences in Twitch. I just started streaming on YouTube. Community moderation. What? I don't know. I feel like it's YouTube doing it like automatically. But like I said, just send your stuff to that email though. And I can look at it. And then that way I'll have your email too. Yeah, I gotta figure that out though. Because I wonder if other streams people have been posting links. And I just assumed they weren't. I gotta take some time and learn some more stuff about Blender. Because the thing I'm realizing is a lot of the things I was using Animate for, you can do in Blender. I just don't know how to do them yet. Like my hand is getting tired from drawing these lines. And usually in Adobe Animate, I use the line tool for cleanup. Oh, you sent the email? Okay, cool. I appreciate it. Blender is difficult to understand. You know what? I think it looks more intimidating than it is. I think if you just mess with it, like the way I figured it out is I had like 3 tutorials that I watched. And each of them were like 2D animation tutorials in Blender. And I think the hardest part is just setting it up so that it's like set up in a way that you like. But then once you have it set up and you kind of have an idea of where everything is, it's pretty straightforward. I think the weirdest thing is just like getting used to this whole section right here at the bottom and having to like set up your colors. Like because you're technically using a 3D program, all your colors have to be materials. But from what I understand, there's a plugin that makes the coloring system like more traditional. So I still gotta look into that. Because to be honest with you, I started this project just as like a training session for Blender to see if I could like actually do something for real in it. Work for peanuts, or free rather, but appreciate tips, lol. Okay, so in Blender, figuring out your preferences is harder than UI. Well, it was a lot of like installing weird plugins and stuff. Like I think what I'm gonna do at some point, I'm gonna make a playlist of all the tutorials that I watched and share it. Because I don't remember off the top of my head, but like once you like set everything up the way you want it and you install some of the drawing plugins, you can save it and then you never have to touch it again. But the problem is I don't remember how to do it from scratch. So like if this got deleted and I had to redo it, I would have to open up all those tutorials again and set it back up. But like a lot of the keyboard shortcuts and stuff are really similar. Like you could set them up so they're just like Flash. And the only thing is the layering system is when you're coloring, if you have a color on top of a layer, and then you try to color on top of that, it won't color underneath of it. So you have to turn off your layers before you start coloring. So it's just like minor stuff like that. It says sounds like an audio editing doc rather than a piece of animation software. I guess that is kind of one way to look at it. I think it's just also like intimidating to look at, especially with like all this stuff up in here in this section. But once you sort of figure out like where the things you need are, it's not that bad. Cause like these tabs, I don't mess with these tabs. I just stay in the 2D animation tab. And the only thing I'm really changing is drawing mode and edit mode. And edit mode is just so you can grab stuff and move it around. Like Reaper more than say Adobe Animate. It's very visually big, yeah. I think it looks like, I don't know if you've seen that meme where it shows an airplane cockpit with like all the buttons. That's kind of how it looks when you first like start out. But once you get used to it, like once you know where everything is, it's pretty straightforward. Like I wanted to start learning 3D, but I'm kind of scared because I feel like it's gonna overcomplicate my idea of Blender as I see it now. Oh my God, that's so real. I was arguing with somebody on Twitter because I said I think learning Blender is easier than learning Toon Boom. And this guy was like, no, it's not. Toon Boom is intuitive and blah, blah, blah. But Toon Boom has the node editor. I don't know if you're familiar with Toon Boom, but the node editor is, it looks, I don't even know how to describe that. Like imagine you had another window open that's like this, and it just has a bunch of like nodes and spaghetti, and like you gotta mess with all this to mess with your animation. Like really the node editor is how all those complex rigs work. Yeah, it depends on your learning curve. I also just think Toon Boom Harmony isn't super intuitive. The way you do a lot of things makes no sense. DaVinci has something similar for effects alteration. So it might be easier for you since you're familiar with like the nodes and stuff like that. It took me a while. It reminds me of like in the Matrix where they're just looking at the code and they're like they can see like what's happening through looking at the code. But it took me a while to get used to Toon Boom. Like longer than getting used to Blender. When I was learning Blender, when I was learning Toon Boom, I had a big like note stuck to the side of my desk with like all these keyboard shortcuts and notes and stuff for me to remember. Oh, but you hated the Matrix? Or you hated the node thing? You can never deal with the web of nodes that don't do the thing how you want. Yeah, that's another. Like, if something's not working, you got to go in node view and like go through all the little cords that are all connected to each other to make sure you didn't like mess something up. It's crazy. The Matrix is timeless, yeah. DaVinci is specifically challenging because not only do you have to do that, a lot of the nodes seem like they should attach, don't always attach. Yeah, Toon Boom's like that too. So it's literally reverse engineering troubleshooting to find out exactly why this node that seems like it should go there won't. Yeah, that's also Toon Boom. Working downstream of the issue. Well, so far when I've used DaVinci, I haven't messed with the nodes. I've just done straight like editing of animation, or like having like image sequences and just compositing them in DaVinci. So pretty simple editing stuff. Sorry if I'm giving you a vicious headache by talking about this thing. Like, no, not at all. Ugh. Oh, the nodes are paid. Okay, that makes sense. Not bad. I might go back over that sword with like an actual line tool. I was trying to avoid doing like a line tool for the sword. But not bad. Oh, don't quote you on that? What time is it? Oh wow, it's almost 10. Should give it a gold shimmer. The sword? Yeah. It's like 12 a.m. for you. I always forget about the time difference. That's really why I started streaming earlier. Because I would stream at like 10 o'clock. Like I would start streaming now. And then I have a lot of friends on the East Coast and they're like, I would watch you, but I have to go to work tomorrow, so I'm going to bed. I hate how I can't see because of these dots. Congestion, yeah. You know, I need to like go blow my nose, but I've been trying to hang on and not do it. I think I'm going to do that now. I'll be right back. So I won't keep snorting into the microphone. All right, I'm back. Made it sound like a kaiju attacking a small village. I'm sorry. I'll be more mindful of that in the future. I was like, all right, I don't want to get up. I don't know why. Like, it's a side effect of being in California. Because I think it's still snowing everywhere. But it's like warm again. It was cold here for maybe like 3 or 4 weeks. And now it's warm again. So it's pretty much like you have a year-round season of allergies because it's always springtime weather. It feels like it's not quite like hot enough for summertime or whatever. You live in Texas, so you get the opposite. Searing heat, sunburns, and sweats. No, in the summer it gets like crazy hot. To the point where nobody wants to go outside. But then, like, for most of the year, we're in this weird in-between space. Permanent allergy season. It's also really dry out here. A month or a month and a half on winter, depending on how well we pray to Cthulhu. That looks better. Summer is Texas, the entire state. You know, I'm like, what did life used to be like before I was like perpetually in allergy mode? That's better. Oh, you were in San Jose during September? Cold or humid with dry. It's like we kind of have a winter. It gets kind of cold. Sometimes for maybe like a month, and then it just like goes right back to being hot. Used to get sunburned so bad it felt like third-degree burns. And then the heat is so dry out here with no humidity. Like when I first moved out here, I used to we would sit in like a hot room with no air conditioning, and you just weirdly adapt to it. It's like you don't realize you're cooking. Okay, I think I'm done for now. I think I've done it. It's been what, 2.5 hours? That's crazy. But yeah, I appreciate you hanging out for the stream. It's cool. I'll definitely check out your voice work. Yeah, I'll hit you back on your email. And at some point, I'll like have a script to send you or whatever. But yeah, I guess imagine this though, Walmart where it's humid with the AC on. I don't even know what that feels like. Yeah, but I'll be back on Thursday. I try to do 6:30 my time, but sometimes it goes late. So today it was like 7:30. But yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back later this week.